which was a prison movie with the three women. And you're smiling, and that's it. It was perfect.
How long has it been since you've been sprayed?
It wasn't meant to be Shakespeare. And yes, we were doing karate chops and, you know, 6 feet guys we were, had under our little finger. And I think it was total escapism.
It was just sheer entertainment. And 3 young women who could karate chop 300-pound guys, we don't know how that happened, who would pull guns from who knows where, sometimes in this outfit, where did she hide that? But all of that silliness kind of was what made it fun.
We did an ice skating show. I was a belly dancer. I mean, I was called upon to do everything. So, we'd get a little bit of ice skating lessons, a little bit of belly dancing, baton twirling, football, you name it. We did it all. Magic.
When I was on the show, I knew that part of what I needed to do on the show was wear a bikini. I knew that was part of the gig. It's California, it's glamorous, there are beaches, and Aaron really understood the attraction of attractive women in bathing suits.
There was never a mandate down, but we kind of understood that the more often we had them in shorts and T-shirts, the better received the show would be. Overall, that was part of what people were tuning in for. It was the first Jiggle television.
Hello?
When they walked, they sort of jiggled. I remember sitting in dailies watching network executives nudge one another as protuberances would appear under the T-shirts. How much that had to do with the success of the show, you tell me. I have no idea. It didn't hurt.
At one point, I had to take a stand and talk to Aaron about the whole bathing suit issue. And I said to him, I know this is part of what you hired me for. I know it's part of the show. But could I be on a boat near the water at the beach, somewhere where one would appropriately be wearing a bathing suit? I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable with this. And he said, no, I understand. Don't worry, it won't happen again. I said, fine. And it didn't happen for 5, 6, 7 episodes. All of a sudden there was an episode in which I start out at the swimming pool for a moment, and then I am running through streets, through hotels. It was an excuse to have me once again in a bathing suit, and it seemed a bit unnecessary to me. And so I said, I guess he didn't get the point. So I did a bad thing. I did a bad thing. I went out and bought the smallest bathing suit I could find. And I kept my robe on the whole time during rehearsal, and then when it was time to shoot the scene, I dropped my robe, and the whole crew is like, Cheryl, what are you doing? You can't wear that. We can't film that. And I said, yes, we're going to film this. Aaron wants a bikini. I'm giving him a bikini. So we shot the scene, and of course they couldn't use a whole bunch of it. They had to actually blow up one of the negatives to get above things that they weren't supposed to be seeing, and it was just... And Aaron didn't say a word to me, except a little note was passed through the wardrobe department to me, and said, tell the little rebel that we won't be doing this again, either of us.
We got flack from the more stringent women's livers for being a Jiggle show. And I thought that they were overlooking the fact that we were 3 women who were calling the shots on a network television show in prime time that was the highest rated show on and seen all over the world.
We got a lot of women, particularly, writing letters to us saying, we're so glad that you're doing this show because it's empowering our daughters to feel like they don't just have to be school teachers and nurses and housewives. And not that there's anything wrong with any of those professions, but women, the view of women used to be very narrow and what was acceptable for women to be and those careers that were acceptable. We changed all that.
This is a tough one, Angels. Doubt if I could do it myself, even if I wanted to. Needs the feminine touch.
I think when they said, oh, you're exploited and you're this, it was all silly because we really weren't, I mean, if you look at what's on the air today, it was so mild.
Women were so often portrayed in film and television as being very competitive with each other. They were always fighting for the guy. And we were 3 women who fought for each other. and fought hard for doing the right thing.
The lawsuit had to be a little bit of a drag.
I would say that was probably the worst thing I've ever been through. Yes, I think emotionally it was a terrible strain, and all the publicity that went along with it, and all the misconceptions about that I had walked away from a contract, which I never did because I didn't have a signed contract, and it was a terrible time.
If you had it to do over again, is there anything you would do different?
About the
Yeah,
lawsuit
that
and
whole
going
business.
through it? No, I would have done exactly the same thing. I think that
Couldn't
the
you
outcome...
have come up with 3-episode deal without all the lawyers?
Well, you see, there were, as you know, probably egos with certain people that were involved, and they weren't ready to reach that agreement in the beginning. Yes, in fact, I probably would have done a few more.
When I came on the show, and I wore my Farrah Fawcett Minor T-shirt on the first day and made everybody laugh, and they knew that I was there to do my work, and then I have to tell you, there was a great sigh of relief when the show started, and everybody was accepting of it, and we were the #1 show, I think, that whole season again, #1 or #2 that whole second season. So it was a great relief to all of us.
I'm usually really proud of the young women who come up and say they used to play Charlie's Angels and they always wanted to be me. Usually it's not the slugs of the world, you know. Usually it's the young women that I think, good, that's all right, that makes me happy.
They haven't approached me about being in the film. It's got a lot of potential to work. First of all, I think people still really love the whole Charlie's Angels concept and thing, or it wouldn't be showing in syndication all over the world still. And I think Drew Barrymore is just wonderful. We're big Drew Barrymore fans at our house. They can't do it the way it was done because it's a new world. They have to find a fresh approach, I think. But at the same time, they can't modernize it so much that it loses what Charlie's Angels was about, that was fun and entertaining and sweet. I hope they keep a sweetness to it, because I think that's what people liked about the girls.
You can't overanalyze things. It is what it is, and it worked. And, you know, the more you do, the more you know, and you go back and you say, I wish we could have done this, and I wish we could have done that, but you move on. You move on and say thank you. If you're nice, you say thank you for a hit.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Right out of my mouth.
Squeeze yourself into that catsuit once again. Another blow-dried episode coming up here on 4.